Hi, hi all of you. How are you all doing? If you have any questions, all of you, please feel free to uh, enter your questions or post your questions. Yeah, good afternoon, all of you. How are you all doing today? Busting breastfeeding myths. This is the topic that we are going to take up for today's discussion. Breastfeeding, although we say that it's something very simple, very easy process, but whenever the mother starts breastfeeding, there are a lot of myths, lot of advice which is surrounding her, and therefore at times she gets nervous, she's worried, she's confused, and she really does not know what to do. And in my practice, I have seen that many of the moms, because of this confusion, they at times also give up breastfeeding. So therefore, we thought that while celebrating this International Breastfeeding Week, why not we take up some of the common myths and just bust them out, and also state certain facts which are related to breastfeeding. I'm Vandana Chawla, registered nutritionist and a certified breastfeeding specialist, and I have over 20 years of experience in the field of nutrition. So here I bring to you some of the breastfeeding myths and also the facts related to breastfeeding. I welcome you all to this live session on Mom Kit Care Instagram. Right. So getting started very quickly onto the myths. The most common myths which I have just listed down are, first is that mother says that they are being told you should eat only plain food, only bland food while you are breastfeeding. Well, just as for all of us, breastfeeding moms also require a healthy, well-balanced diet. All of us require that. During breastfeeding, the mothers, their nutritional requirements get increased. It is increase in calorie needs, there is increase in protein needs, and therefore they have to just make certain adjustments of increasing the quantity of certain healthy foods in their diet. For instance, that if the mothers, let's say, are taking let's say 5 chapatis in a day during pregnancy, then we would advise is just make it 6 chapatis in a day. If they are taking, let's say, about 2 katoris of dal in a day, we would say that make it 3 katoris of dal. Or in between your meals, you can take a bowl of some sprout salad that you can take. Increase the fluid intake. So these are some of the changes that we suggest to them. But we never tell them that have an absolutely bland diet. Another thing, coming to the tastes and preferences, please remember all moms that while your baby is inside your womb, it is at that time only that the baby's taste buds gets formed, and therefore the baby can recognize and accept a lot of taste of whatever food that you are eating, and the same taste comes into your breast milk as well. So there is nothing to worry about the taste part of it. Coming to spices, yes, we do say that don't make it too spicy, too pungent, too much of chili powder being added, too much of oil being added, too much of fried food being given. That, of course, we always say. This is also a part of any of the normal healthy diet. Also, we say that do not make your food, because this is not good for your own digestion. This is not good for your own digestive system. But when it comes to lactation, definitely this can have an effect on the baby. But at the same time, I'm not saying that don't use the spices. You can go for so many other type of spices and some natural herbs. We have ginger, we have a saunf, ajwain, also then we have cinnamon, then there can be little use of garlic. All of them can be added, which can make also cardamoms of different types. India is full of all these spices and herbs. So in any region you come from, you'll get different types of these natural herbs. And the most important part is that most of these herbs are also galactagogues. Galactagogues means that these are the ones which help to increase the breast milk supply also. So you can make your food tasty, flavorful by adding all these into your diet. Yes, if you want to add chilies, make sure that you add very little of it. Do not make it too spicy, which can affect the digestion. So that's why we say that saying that having a bland diet, a steamed diet, that kind, no, that we are not advising. We are only saying take a healthy, well-balanced diet, flavorful, tasty. Let you enjoy your meal and let the baby also enjoy your meal. So breastfeeding is not putting a ban on your diet. Then comes the next myth which I come across is that you can't breastfeed if the size and the shape of your nipple is not perfect. Well, I would like to tell you all the mothers out there that there is no perfect size for breastfeeding. Every woman has different sizes of breast, different shapes of nipple, whatever the size may be, whether it is a small size or it is a big size. The breast milk supply does not get affected by it, because the size of the breast is dependent upon the amount of the fatty tissue which is present in the breast, whereas the milk is produced by the glandular tissue. So therefore both of them are two different things. So if the size is big or small, the glandular tissue remains the same, and it is that tissue which is producing the milk. So how does the milk supply get affected? This is the logical understanding which you all should have. So do not keep this kind of a myth in your mind that if the breast size is small, the mother will not be able to produce milk, right? Milk production, milk supply always depends upon demand and supply. Demand and supply, to be very easy to understand, the more milk is being removed either by hand expression or by pump expression or by by baby being sucking on the mother's breast, whichever way, the more the milk is being removed from the breast, the more the milk will be produced by your breast. This is the whole scientific idea behind the breast milk supply. So it is not the breast size which is affecting. Next coming to is the nipple shape. Well, yes, we do say that nipple is an outlet by which the baby attaches himself to the mother, and it is from that outlet that the baby starts getting the milk. Now, if the nipple size is not correct, nipple shape is not too good, then in that case the problem could be that the baby may not be able to latch very well or attach himself very well to the mother. That, yes, can be a problem, but that also has solutions. Solutions in the sense that if already it has been identified during the period of pregnancy or immediately after breastfeeding that the mother's nipple shape is either flat or it is inverted, then in that case she has to seek the advice, and there are measures available like making use of nipple shields or nipple shells or even using pumps. But the breastfeeding supply or the breast milk supply does not get affected at all. So therefore, whatever the size of the mother's breast may be, whatever the shape of the mother's nipple may be, she can successfully breastfeed her baby. This is the fact, right? Now, after this, then another myth that we commonly get to hear is that you can't take medications if you are breastfeeding. Well, when we look at this point, then yes, we have to be careful. But during pregnancy, during breastfeeding, mothers can take up almost all sorts of medication, all types of medications she can take, but she should always be taking medicines as per the advice given by her doctors, and also the dosage, the duration of the medicine that she is taking, that should also depend upon what the doctor's prescription says. It should not be on her own free will that she should be just start popping in any of the medicine, right? The doctor would be the best person to advise you, and you have to always inform the doctor that you are breastfeeding. In fact, WHO during the COVID times and the pandemic times, WHO has also come out with their latest report saying that even breastfeeding moms, and if suppose they get COVID during that time, they can successfully continue to breastfeed their baby. So therefore, the breastfeeding cannot be stopped. Only thing is that mothers are worried that some of the remnants or the residues of the medicine may come into the breast milk, and that may affect the taste of the milk, or they may cause some harm to the baby. That could be the worrisome for the mothers. In that case, I would say that always it is better that you take your medicine immediately after the breastfeeding session, so that the next session, which will be after 2 to 3 hours, the residues or the remnants of the medicine will not remain in your milk. Thereby, you can easily and very comfortably take your medicines. So therefore, medications and all, that cannot be stopped. So there is nothing which can stop breastfeeding as such. This is what we are trying to tell you. So all those who have joined me now, I welcome you all to this session. I am Vandana Chawla, registered nutritionist, certified breastfeeding specialist, and today I am on Mom's Kid Care Instagram Live, discussing about the myths related to breastfeeding and also the facts that come out related to breastfeeding. Now, we have already discussed the myths. Let's look at some of the facts. Looking at the facts, one of the commonest fact is that, which we always say, is that no prelactal feeds to be given, and the start with colostrum. This is a fact which all nutritionists, all doctors, all pediatricians, they keep saying that no prelactal feeds. You would be wondering, what is a prelactal feed? Well, giving honey water, sugar water, or just giving plain water, or giving any kind of top milk immediately after the birth of the baby to the baby, because there is a very common notion in some of these societies is that if the baby is being given little bit of honey immediately after birth, as soon as he's born, or little bit of sugar water, the baby will have a very sweet tongue and will always be speaking very sweetly. Well, that is a myth. So what we suggest, the lactation experts, or be it the doctors or the pediatricians, we all suggest these prelactal feeds should not be given to the baby. What is the reason for that? The reason for that is that these prelactal feeds can cause infection. They may cause some kind of allergic reaction to the baby. It may delay the breastfeeding session altogether, and we always advise that the breastfeeding should start immediately after the mother has delivered. That means it should get started right in the recovery room itself. Of course, if it is a cesarean section, then it can be delayed by some time till the time the mother regains consciousness, but she can be then fit and ready to breastfeed her baby. But under all circumstances, if the delivery has been normal, and immediately after delivery, the first thing that the baby should be given and getting is the mother's milk. No other prelactal like honey water, sugar water, or any other top milk, nothing should be given to the baby at that time. Why we are so much insisting on this? The reason is we have to start giving the baby what is called the first milk which comes out of the mother's breast. This first milk which comes out is a yellowish, sticky kind of a fluid which is called colostrum. This colostrum, it spells as colostrum. So do not get confused. It's not cholesterol, it is colostrum. This is the name of the name given to the milk, which is the first milk that comes out of the mother's breast. It does not appear to be like a milk. It's a very yellowish, sticky kind of a fluid that is coming out. But the best part about this colostrum is that this colostrum is the one which is filled with or packed with lot of nutrients. It is packed with lot of immunoglobulins. It is packed with certain important components which is coating the intestinal lining of the baby's intestines, as a result of which his digestion gets improved. His digestion starts getting better and better because he's still born with a little immature digestive system, and plus he is already right from day one, the mother starts giving immunity or boosting the immunity of the baby by way of giving this colostrum to the baby. So therefore what we say is that right from day one, do not give anything, start with colostrum. This colostrum may be little small in quantity, this may be little very less. You would see that it could be just few milliliters which is coming, and then you will wonder, how is this going to fulfill my baby's tummy? This is just few ml. Please remember, whatever is the need of the baby, your breast will produce that much amount of milk. This is the time during the first few days the need is very less, and therefore the mother is producing, although the quantity is very less, but it is a powerhouse of nutrients, powerhouse of immunity boosting components, which is going to make your baby strong, healthy. It should not be discarded, it should not be delayed, but rather it should be fed to the baby. This is all for those mothers who are in their third trimester of pregnancy, who are yet to deliver. Please remember, immediately after delivery, get started with breastfeeding and do not delay feeding of the colostrum. This has to be fed. Remember, this is like giving a tonic to your baby. Now, I just now saw a question which has come up by one of the moms. She says that I suffered from a nipple crack as soon as the latch improved, everything was good. Absolutely, I agree that if the latching is not correct, if the positioning of the baby is not correct, what would happen is the baby will not be breastfeeding, but rather he would be doing is nipple feeding. The more the baby sucks onto the nipple, the thing would be that it would result in the soreness, the cracks in the nipple, and pain to the mother. So anytime when we tell mothers that if you're experiencing any kind of pain, if you're experiencing soreness in the nipples, if you're experiencing cracks in the nipple, it means that there is a problem related to the latching. Correct your latch, apply your milk onto the nipples, the cracks also get healed up. At the same time, the further deterioration also gets stopped, the sucking is good, baby gets good supply of milk, all the problems get solved. So where was the problem? The problem was in latching, the problem was in positioning. Once that is corrected, everything starts running smoothly, right? So this was one of the facts that we just now discussed about no prelactal feeds. Then when we look at other type of facts that I have just pulled out, and which I always keep telling the moms, is that during breastfeeding, or if you are breastfeeding, you regain your shape and your size very quickly. All mothers always wonder that I have put on so much weight during pregnancy, and if I start breastfeeding, if I'm sitting the whole day, am I going to lose weight? How will I lose weight? How can you say that I would lose weight if I am breastfeeding my baby? Well, I would like to tell you all moms that if you are breastfeeding, yes, the research, the studies have indicated you come back to your shape much faster, much earlier than the mothers who are not breastfeeding their baby. The reason for that is that while breastfeeding, you are burning a lot of fat which is present in your body, because you require calories to prepare that breast milk. So it is a fat burning exercise that you are doing. So remember that, just as we do aerobics as a fat burning, same way when you are breastfeeding, when you are producing milk, when you are supplying milk to your baby, you are doing, inwardly your body is doing a fat burning exercise, helping to burn off or remove the fat from your body. That is one thing. Secondly, during breastfeeding, there is a release of a hormone called oxytocin. It is this hormone which helps in the release of the milk from the milk ducts out of the breast. That is known as the letdown of the milk. Now, this oxytocin has another impact onto the mother's body, and that is that it helps in the contraction of the uterus. That is, the uterus which had expanded during pregnancy, the uterus now starts contracting, starts coming back to its original size and that happens because of the presence of the oxytocin. And oxytocin is formed only when the mother is breastfeeding. So therefore, breastfeeding results in the release of oxytocin. Oxytocin brings the contraction of the uterus, thereby the mother's abdomen or the uterus starts falling back into the shape. So the mother returns back to her size and the earlier shape very quickly if she is breastfeeding. Many of the mothers would say, I breastfed my baby for 1 year, but I never came back to the same shape. What was the reason for that? Well, I would like to say, this is how physiologically your body is helping you to come back to shape. The breastfeeding is helping you to come back to your shape and size. At the same time, you have to check on to what are you eating, what is your diet, what kind of foods are you including in your diet, and are you just sitting the whole day, or are you moving around also a little bit? What kind of lifestyle are you using during the breastfeeding times? If the lifestyle has been mostly sedentary, if the intake of food has not been healthy, then definitely the chances of anyone, not just breastfeeding mom, anyone, it would be to put on weight. So therefore, we have to keep, it's a combination of all those things. But these factors which I told you just now, they are the one which is supporting, they are helping in mothers to come back to their earlier shape and size. So this was another fact. And then now we come to some of the questions that we got from the mothers. And one of the most important question that came was how often you should feed your baby and what is skin to skin contact. Well, when it comes to how often it should feed, we say that it is not a standard thing which I can tell you all out there. I can only say is that it varies depending upon the age of the child. When it is a case of a newborn baby, the baby may be spending very long time onto the breast. So each session will go for very long time, and then the baby leaves the breast, and then the baby starts sleeping and sleeps for about 4 to 6 hours and then takes the next feed. This may happen for the first week. From the second week, the mother starts observing that the baby will be spending less time onto the breast and then taking again some nap, and then again another 15 to 20 minutes onto the breast. By the time the baby is 1 month old, we expect that there is a breastfeeding schedule which has been set up, according to which the baby demands for feed after every 2 hours and spends about 10, 15 to 20 minutes upon the breast. It could be one breast, it could be both the breast. It all depends upon how long the session of the baby goes and how much the baby shows the sign or gives the sign of satisfaction or fullness. This also, everything is baby led. Okay, so therefore the mother has to look at when is the baby asking for the feed. That would decide the number of feeds. But we always advise in general that the mothers who feel that their babies are not gaining weight adequately, there we say that at least make it 8 to 10 feeds in 24 hours. When I say 24 hours, it includes day and night. Please remember, the concept of day and night is only for us, not for the newborn baby. For them, everything is day, everything is night. So there is nothing as a concept of day and night for them. So therefore, whenever we talk about the number of feeds, we talk in terms of 24 hours. And we say that it is 24 hours, you should be giving at least 8 to 10 feeds. So it should be approximately about every 2 hours you should be feeding. Now, in some cases, what happens is that the baby may be little, sleepy types, little lazy, not crying so much, or mother doesn't know what to do. Maybe the baby is sleeping for 3 hours, then in that case, or in certain cases where the baby is not gaining weight as per the norms, there we advise that make a schedule and start feeding the baby after every 2 hours. So these are certain specific conditions where we tell the mothers that after every 2 hours, you are supposed to breastfeed your baby. Let the baby spend 10 to 15 minutes on each breast. If suppose the baby looks satisfied after 10 to 15 minutes, and if it was right breast, then and baby goes off to sleep, let the baby sleep. In the next session, start feeding from the left side so that you are feeding from both the breast. Or it could be in one session, you can move from right to left, but make sure do not jump very quickly from one breast to another breast. By doing so, the problem could be that baby gets only the foremilk, which is rich in lactose. The baby may not get the hind milk, which is rich in fat. That can affect the weight gain of the baby. So therefore, again and again, we all keep saying, let the baby spend at least 10 to 15 minutes on each breast, right? So then another thing that came up was, what is skin to skin contact? Well, skin to skin contact is something which we say is holding the baby very close to the mother's body. This has to be done right from the beginning, and this is something which is very important for preterm babies who are with low birth, or babies in general. Also for every baby, we say that skin to skin contact is very essential because it initiates breastfeeding. It helps to stimulate the release of those hormones which help in the production of the milk and the release of the milk from the mother's breast, and therefore these are the hormones which we say are the ones which are very critical, and they start forming or getting stimulated when there is skin to skin contact. Also, with the skin to skin contact, it has been noticed that it improves the baby's breathing rate, it improves his circulation, it brings down his temperature to normalcy, and the baby looks much calmer, relaxed, he sleeps well. And same is the thing which is being seen in mothers also, that with this skin to skin contact, mothers also feel very calm, very relaxed. It is something like a me time between the mom and the baby. So therefore, skin to skin contact is something which is highly advised, and therefore all moms who have newborn babies should go for skin to skin contact, spending 15 to 20 minutes. How skin to skin contact? The baby's upper part has to be naked and put it on to the mother's chest, and just cover yourself with some blanket and just remain in that room for about 10 to 15 minutes or even 20 minutes. That will be just relaxing. There is no feeding happening at that time. It is just the warmth of the baby being passed on to you, and the mother's warmth, love, affection, everything being passed on to the baby. So therefore, skin to skin is something which is really advisable to all the moms. Then we had a question which said that I am working and I'm out for 8 to 10 hours. What should I do about my breastfeeding? Well, you should not give up breastfeeding. Even if you're working, even if you're going out of house, and if you're working from not from home but from office, then also you can continue to breastfeed. Now, what you have to do for that is, number one, breastfeed before you leave for work. Number two, breastfeed when you come back from work. Number three, while you are at work, try to express your milk either through hand expression or by using pumps. Number four, collect your milk and make sure that in office you have either some coolers or you have a small space for yourself as a refrigerator where you can store the milk. And also when you come back, that is the time that you have to spend as much time with your baby and try to breastfeed directly to the baby. All this stored milk can be handed over to the caretaker of the baby and kept in the fridge, and next day while you are at work, the same milk can be used and can be taken out from the refrigerator and been fed to the baby. When it is taken out from the refrigerator, one care has to be taken as, do not heat it directly onto the gas flame, do not put it into the microwave. Just take a pan of warm water, swirl this bottle into that, and when you feel that the temperature has come back to the room temperature, that is the right temperature, and then start feeding the baby. For all these things to happen, the mother has to train herself, train the baby, and train the caretaker for all this. And this should get started at least 2 to 3 weeks prior to resuming your work. So if you know that from next month you are resuming your work, then 2 to 3 weeks prior to that, get some good nanny or a caretaker, or if you have some parents help, that can be ideal. So any kind of help that is available at home, you can just train them a little bit. And how you would be training is, first you start training yourself by learning how to express the milk, how to pump out the milk, how to store the milk. All this training is going from your end. With respect to the baby, the training would be how to take the milk from the bottle. because the baby is been used to having the milk from the breast. So the baby starts getting training on this. Second, taking milk from someone else's hand. Mother is not around. It could be any caretaker. So that is the second training that is happening for the baby. And for the caretaker, every 2 hours, taking out the milk bottle from the refrigerator, swirling it in warm water, then feeding it to the baby. All this care has to be taken. So all this training should get started 2 to 3 weeks prior to resuming work, so that when you go to work, all three of you are set for this new journey, that is of feeding the baby the breast milk, but via the bottle, and that to the expressed breast milk. Right? So there is nothing that you would be losing out into it, but rather your baby, you would also continue to work, and your baby would continue to get the healthy milk from you. That is the beautiful and the most precious gift that you can give to your baby. So this was one of the queries which keeps coming. Another was how early bottle feeds lead to latching issues. Now, it all depends upon, we would say that if you start bottle very early, then definitely it would cause latching issues. Starting very early means because if it is in the initial months, first 3 months, if you get started with the using of bottle, because it is first week only that the baby is learning how to latch, how to get attached to the mother's breast, how to position himself to so that he get the good feed. But at the same time, if suppose the mother introduces the baby to a bottle, then what happens is that baby gets into a confused state of how to take it from the bottle and how to take it from the breast, because both sucking is different, be it bottle, be it breast. So this, what we call in our terminology, is nipple confusion. Why this nipple confusion happens is because from the breast the baby has to put in an effort. He has to actually press out, and then only the milk supply starts. Whereas when it comes to the bottle, then it is something very easy. You must have noticed, even if you invert the bottle, the milk starts dripping out of the nipple very easily. So there is no pressure, no effort that the baby has to put. Whereas when it comes to breastfeeding, the baby has to actually put an effort. So therefore, very early in the state, if the mother introduces the baby to the bottle, then what happens is baby will never learn how to latch to the breast. Number two, the breast milk supply can be affected, because the breast milk supply depends upon how quickly and how frequently you remove the milk from your breast. If that is not happening, the breast milk supply can be affected. So therefore, it is always advisable that do not introduce, be it a pacifier, be it bottle, do not introduce if everything is going very normal, everything is fine with the positioning, latching, baby's mouth, sucking, everything is normal. Do not introduce bottles too early, because that can cause nipple confusion, right? Now, then we had one more question which I would quickly take up, is how to overcome the low milk supply. Yes, now this is something very commonly being asked by many moms. When it comes to low milk supply, please always first and foremost check your position, how you're holding your baby, and check the latching also, if the baby is correctly latched or not. Latched means he's not just holding on to the nipple, he's also holding on to the black part surrounding the nipple, which is called the areola. And therefore, always check the position and the latching. Secondly, feed more often. Increase the number of times you feed the baby. Increase skin to skin contact. Feed the baby at night, and eat healthy. Eat at least small frequent meals at least 5 to 6 times in a day. Keep yourself well hydrated. Include some kind of galactogogues in your diet. Galactogogues, like we say, the natural foods like edible gums, fenugreek seeds, fennel seeds, all these which I was telling you as the spices, the same I'm repeating again. Ajwain or chickpea, that is chana, or oats or spinach, all of them are natural galactogogues which help to increase the breast milk supply. So include them into your diet. Go for those tasty laddus and panjiris which the mothers make. Keep them ready and have it 1 or 2 in between your meals as a snack while you're breastfeeding the baby. Not only it will give you extra energy and protein which your body actually requires, but will also provide you with those galactogogues that will help in the release of the milk from your breast. And finally, do not start with the bottle too early, and most importantly, remain calm and stress-free, because stress itself can have a very negative impact on your breast milk supply. So therefore, remain calm, remain relaxed, be relaxed. And that is why in my later story I have said that relaxed moms have relaxed babies. So remain relaxed, be happy, everything can get sorted out. There is nothing of a major problem. And then how do I get to know if my milk is sufficient? Well, when we say how do I get to know, because when it comes to the bottle milk, the mothers can always look at the bottle and say, oh, I gave today 150, my baby took at least 120 ml of milk, wonderful. Next week baby took 130, now baby is taking 150, my baby is doing very well. But when it comes to breast, there is no way the mothers can check. But yes, we will tell you what are the ways to know that your baby is getting good amount of mother's milk. That is the baby's weight gain. You have to keep checking. Baby should be gaining weight. There should not be slowing down. There should not be falling of the weight. There should not be a steady weight that baby should be having. During the first 6 months, baby gain weight at the rate of about 0.5 kg to 1 kg per month. By 6 months, on an average, the baby should double his birth weight. Okay. So therefore, you have to always keep checking that if the baby is gaining weight healthily or not. Number one. Number two, check on the number of wet diapers. If it is 6 to 8 wet diapers in 24 hours, it is again indicating that the supply is good. Number three, when the baby is on the breast, you can hear some soft sucking sounds that are coming. You can see that your baby is very comfortable, very pleasant, very happy onto the breast. Baby sleeps very well. Baby is not very cranky. And whenever the baby is up, he is alert, he is active, he is playful also, plus he is taking his feeds also. All this would be indicating that your milk supply is very good. If any of these things are not happening, it would indicate there is decrease or there is lower milk supply. Lower milk supply means, it does not mean that there is some problem in you. The only thing is that maybe there is something wrong with the position or the latching or the other things that needs to be corrected. Once they get sorted out, the breastfeeding comes back to normalcy. Okay, so these were some of the questions that we got to know. And lastly, I know I am going a little bit above time, but I would just like to touch upon this topic because many of the moms ask about this also, about breast pumps. Do they really work? And what should I go for, whether it is manual or electrical? Well, I would like to say that first the mothers should know that when should a mom use a pump. She can use the pump only when, number one, there is some problem like engorgement, sore nipples, extremely sore nipples, or where baby has got cleft palate, or there is some kind of breast surgery that has happened, or the baby's weight is not gaining well. So in such circumstances, we always advise that the mother should, or if the mother has to resume work, as we just now discussed. So under such circumstances, we always tell mothers that please start, using breast pumps, because these pumps, they press onto the breast so well that they help in the easy release of the milk from the breast. But they should not be used as like, if the baby can get attached to your breast very well, can suck very well from your breast, the breast supply is going well, your breastfeeding is going well, then in such circumstances, there is no need for you to use the breast pump. Only under certain conditions, circumstances, does an expert always advise you to use the breast pump. Now comes, which type of pump should I go for? Should I go for the manual pump or should I go for the electrical pump? Well, when you are choosing the pump, you have to know the answers to these questions. Are you going to use very often? Number one. If you are using it very often, you are going to use it for at least 4 to 5 months, 6 months altogether, and you are resuming work, that is the reason you are using it, or there is some problem because of which you know that it could take some time for the problem to get sorted out. So therefore, you do not want your breast milk supply to get affected. Under such circumstances, we would say go for electrical pump. But if cost is an issue and everyone is very careful about, I don't want to spend so much, which is absolutely right, then also in that case we would advise that yes, you can go for manual pump. So manual pump is mainly for those who are really concerned about the cost part, who know that they're not going to use the breast pump or too often. It is only sometimes. Also, they want to have some simple, easy, portable sort of a thing, which is on the go type of mothers, and they can just express express the milk wherever they are, for such circumstances we can say manual pump can still work. Okay, so there are manual pumps are also good, they also help to express. Electrical pumps are also good, they also help to express the milk. It's only depending upon how much is your usage going to be, how much money are you ready to spend, how long are you going to use it, what is exactly the problem. Therefore that becomes the deciding factor as to which sort of pump you should go for. Okay, so I will just look at some of the questions which we have just now received, and that is how to increase the low milk supply. This, I think I have already answered to this question. So thank you all the mothers out there for joining me today live on Mom Kit Care Instagram. I'm really thankful to you all. I wish you all the good luck in your breastfeeding journey, wish you all the best. And my advice to you all would be never ever give up breastfeeding. If you have issues, if you have concerns, always approach the expert, get your issues sorted out, but never ever give up breastfeeding. That is the most precious gift that you can give to your baby. Right? I am on Mom Kit Care website, so in case if you want any consultations, then you feel free to get connecting with me. And for this month, since it is International Breastfeeding Week, we will be giving you 30% discount on our consultations. So feel free, come forward, and we are all there to help you out. So good luck to you all and all the best. Thank you for joining me today on this session. Bye-bye. See you next.